Okay, we're here for episode the next episode of the podcast. We're going to talk about episodes 21 and 22 of Shaman King. I am here with Jock, as I have been waiting for him to interrupt me this entire 5 seconds. This is awkward. What? Jock, stop. Jock, Jock. The man left me.
I didn't leave you.
Ah! Okay, we are live. If you didn't hear that. Actually, speaking of which, I think I did something that I didn't do something that I meant to do, which is release the last week's podcast. I'm a bad person. Let me while I get that sorted.
I just want to emphasize that you'd be nothing without me, as proven by this lack of conversation.
I'm gonna mute Jock here. I'm gonna see who's useless. We're gonna see who's useless. Crap. Wow, I really don't know what happened here. I thought I had that podcast episode, but I don't. Must have been Chocolate. Yeah, it was Chocolate. Never mind. Oh boy. Okay, so that was already released on YouTube, but it has not been released elsewhere yet. So I'm gonna fix that later today. Yeah, but I guess with that, we're gonna talk about episodes 21 and 22 of Shaman King. I guess I'll check on statistics. I don't think much has changed. I'd be surprised if it did. So we'll take care of that real quick before we move on. Cause I didn't do it last week. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are missing that. What?
I was very disappointed that you didn't do it last week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were disappointed. I highly doubt they were disappointed.
A better man would have done it. A better man.
Unfortunately. Okay, this is the end of the podcast. Thank you guys. We're not coming back. This is the very last. Jock ruined it.
Oh, I did ruin
it. See here. It looks like a lot of traffic is coming from something called pod nodes, but I don't know. The second highest traffic we're getting is from Google Chrome. I don't know how. I don't understand where Google Chrome. I do release it on Microsoft, on like somewhere on Google, but I don't know if they're listening it through Google Chrome. If they are, hi people using Google Chrome. I'm very shocked they're using that.
Hi Google Chrome.
Got some people from Google Bot. I don't know what that's from. Stitcher releasing us everywhere else that I had no control over. Spotify. That's also next. It's a low amount of people listening from here apparently. Again, we're having a lot of South American people listening to us. Thank you again for listening to a couple of people rambling about anime. Nothing else for next like an hour. What?
You make it sound so sexy.
I'm not gonna knock anybody's kink if they get off on that. That's.
Thanks a lot, guys, for wasting your time listening to my anime rambling.
Okay, I guess with that we're gonna go on to episode 21.
Why don't you just use the description of the video description to link to better podcasts?
I think that'd be against the terms of service on Twitch.
Or instructions on how to uninstall or something,
Jeez, I'm not gonna go that far.
That's what I mean. If you're gonna do that, you might as well just go all out, right?
Okay, we're gonna start with episode 21. We're gonna do something a little bit different here. In the notes that my what?
Who taught you how to love?
Nobody. We're going to episode 21. Well, that's just rude. Episode 21. We're going to do something a little bit different here, and I'm going to read off the little description they have for episode 21. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to at least help us, I guess, have a little bit of something to say here, while also going to a summary. So, episode 21, Iron Maiden Jean. At least I pronounce her name. Pretty much Yoga becomes cocky over his new powers, claiming he will defeat the Iceman team with one attack. During the match, Yoga reveals his and Myanmar's powers have evolved enough to create a giant oversoul named Spirit of the Sword. I did not know what that was in the. Okay, that's. Thank you, Wikipedia, for spoilers. However, He finds his tiring, and Faust reveals his new trust towards his mates after Anna helped him meet the spirit of Elizabeth. That's
You
actually a good explanation of what actually happened in this entire episode. That was probably a lot better organized than I would have ever had. What are you gonna say?
you did find out that it was Spirit of Sword. They reveal it, I think, this episode or the next
Yeah, I'll
episode.
say. I mean, what I was saying was that was a good overview.
Oh,
I was just poking fun at the thing because if someone had read this and didn't watch the episode first, this would have been a spoiler.
oh yeah.
This entire thing would have been a spoiler. I would just saying
Mhm.
thank you spoilers, but yeah, that's a good overview. I guess here we can start dissecting a little bit in this episode. I want to bring up something that didn't bring up here that Jock also brings up here. The Bose brothers drop by. We also find out their dream was to be a musician monks. Uh, I don't know why. I feel like we already knew that, but maybe not because they hadn't dropped that information here. I was gonna bring up that something I didn't bring up was that their song "Chimmy Chimmy Mario." There's actually an MP3 of that song. I actually have it on an old MP3 player that I don't use anymore.
That's awesome.
So I actually have this song somewhere in my belongings. And I only remember this because I used to listen to this song a lot going to college. I rode the metro around here, so I had to do something where I was like riding the metro for going to college. So this was actually on my list of songs. I don't listen to that list of songs anymore, but when I listened to this, I did not know that it came from Shaman King because I always wondered where the song came from. So I now know where the song came from. It always did kind of bug me that I had this song and I always thought it came from another show, but it came from Bleach. So thank you, Shaman King. You actually somehow invaded my MP3 player list years after the fact. Um, we also find out a little bit more backstory on the Bose brothers, which I don't think you bring up here from the looks of it. No. Um, I mean, none of this is a secret. They meet Hao when Hao is like, looks to me like 5 years old. I put on, they had a meeting with a younger Hao that immediately had them join them. Uh,
It was such a comic relief like opening that I wasn't sure if I really cared. Like they were like,
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's still kind of canon that
"Hey, do
that's
you want to join our group?" Yeah, and that's how we joined their group. And they're like, "Oh, that's it?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, I don't know if I feel like.
well, they're so like one-off antagonists that I can understand where he came from with that, but I decided because Howl's involved in it, and Howl's the main baddie for it, for all we know right now. So I mean, Howl's in it. I thought it was important to write it down. So that was my take a note from that. This actually my next note actually kind of rolls right into your next note here. They after that entire whatever that was, uh, Ryu checks his Oracle bell to see who's actually up in the next fight. Lyserg shows up, and this brings us to Lyserg and Marco with the Iron Maiden Jane. I think Jock has something to say about Iron Maiden Jane, but we'll get to that in a minute. Uh, pretty much it's round one is versus the Niles with. I'm glad you wrote these down because I did write them down, but I'm glad you wrote these down here. The,
Mm-hmm.
the Team Niles is comprised of three people: Anato, the Pharaoh, uh, Hoffrey, who I believe is yeah he's the embalmer, the Anubis guy, and then we also have the pyramid dude. I think Knocket. I know at first before we because they were all wearing masks. At first I thought they were going to be dark skinned. I think the only person that was dark skinned was like, and it was kind of fairly an argument there, was the guy wearing the pharaoh mask. Um, I think that's I don't know. I feel like most Egyptian people are dark skinned, not black, but just dark skin. It's kind of weird that they decided not to go that route with them.
Oh, I see. So you're the one that gets to decide if someone's black or not.
I'm not gonna assume black because I don't want to be wrong. That's why I
I'm just
said.
checking.
That's why
Just
I
want
didn't
to
say
confirm
black.
that.
They were just
I just
dark skinned.
I want to confirm that you're the one that gets to decide if someone's
No, I'm
black.
not the one that decides this. I would just say it for my own safety here, so I don't get hit with hate comments.
Oh, okay.
I'm not inviting that.
I just I'm not going crazy here or nothing. I just it seemed like for a minute, and don't get me wrong, Seemed like for a minute, maybe you were deciding who could be black.
No.
Okay, okay. Then we'll forget about it. You sounded like you were saying that in fact the person was not black, and I was just curious if that's what you really meant or not, you know?
Continuing on with your notes that apparently are almost lining up with mine. We're here. You say Lyserg wages a dominating and savage battle, easily defeating all opponents. I here say Lyserg at the request of the Iron Maiden defeats the fake Egyptians. Oh boy, that's probably gonna give you a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of hate for that, but that's what they were, fake Egyptians. But
Oh wait, you get to decide if somebody's Egyptian too.
dang it, we're gonna move on from this. I think here's the way
You're very confusing, sir.
I'm very confused, and also very confusing. You know, we're just gonna move on. Uh, I like here that he says spouts a ton about justice and living with pain. Instead of referencing how. I'm sorry, I just can't think of it like you like Shaman King. Blah blah. I'm not what you're talking about there, with referencing how, but it just when I read that, that's what I actually thought about immediately. The moment you wrote that. If you could see his notes here, you would be laughing, guys. Like I'm serious.
My commentary in the second episode was even worse.
Oh dear. Um, he threatens to kill his opponents, but clearly would rather not. I like to bring up here that though I think I was wrong with this one. I thought at first that Lyserg was brainwashed because if you notice his eyes, they were different color for a large majority of that, especially the scene where he was crying. I
Mhm.
thought he might have been brainwashed, and I'm still actually on that train that he might have been brainwashed, but not in the way of like brainwashed control, more like brainwashed in influencing his decisions. But I guess it's still kind of control. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Something about what he was doing didn't seem like 100% Lyserg, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Lyserg is about to kill the guys because he already kind of finished their fight. He literally broke all their intermediaries for using shaman powers, and as he's about to kill them, his spirit stops the pendulum from hitting them. Uh, which is the first instance of his spirit doing what he wants to do versus doing what the shaman wants him to do. I thought it was interesting. Uh, don't know much more to say about that. I mean, after Lyserg fails to kill the shamans, Iron Maiden pretty much says, "I'm going to take care of it." And not that it was a secret that she was a girl, but but I mean,
Can I
yeah.
say something about the shaman part though? I
But
thought it was super interesting that the Lyserg like couldn't quite bring himself to kill him, or the spirit I guess couldn't quite bring herself to kill him. And Lyserg didn't have the force of will to make it happen either. I just thought that was super interesting that like they built that into the storyline.
well,
Um,
it's just part of like that whole you brought up that Yoel influences people. Like Lyserg was already influenced. Lyserg spent the
yeah, but
entirety of.
when he looks back at Yo and 724, he's like, "Sorry, Yo," and you see like tears in his eyes, and like he's really sorry.
But the thing is, though, I don't know if that was really him or there or not, because that's what I'm saying. The brainwashing thing, I'm still kind of confused about it, because it
Yeah,
seemed like to me he was brainwashed.
it sounds like maybe they brainwashed him more than anything, though. It was like I don't know. It just seemed like he wasn't doing what his first choice was, and they take him off to be punished, which they make a big emphasis about too, because they go back to that and say like, you know what I mean? That like they go back and emphasize that like he's going to be punished for what he did. But I just thought it was really cool.
Shoot. No, that's a problem. I just didn't really have much more to say about that. I mean, all I care is I'm still stuck on if he's brainwashed or not. But if he is, I don't know what level of brainwashing he has. Um, Marcus says that he made sure that his education was thorough, which was also very weird wording on his part.
Yeah,
Um,
given that's what I mean, how brutal it was, like that they keep emphasizing all that. Like it just makes it sound like there's something really um severe going on there. And I just thought it was really interesting the way they built it.
Then we come to the Iron Maiden, who apparently I guess is who they worship in this cult. Uh, We see what she looks like, and I guess I'm gonna leave this one to Jock before I let him, I guess, do his spiel. Uh, I'm not that shocked that I guess my thing is that yeah, she's underage, but at the same time, she doesn't have anything to show.
Well,
So
they like
as weird
teased.
as it was, I was like, I was uncomfortable. Not gonna lie, I was uncomfortable, but at the same time, it wasn't like if she was like 18 and she had a full figure, like that'd be like there'd be more to talk about there, but she wasn't.
I mean, I feel like there's more to talk about because she was so underage. I mean, she was like totally, entirely 100% underage, and it was really, really creepy that like that's what they did with it. You know, they just forced an underage woman into this. Like, why did you have to bring underage woman into this? Like, it was creepy as hell, and like, it's not made less creepy by the fact that you can't see anything, because you can't see anything because it's covered in blood. Like a blood-soaked chest is not like censorship; it's just creepier.
No, what I was saying, like she didn't have anything to show. I've seen worse, well not worse. I've seen a lot more exposed. I'm not saying that's an excuse for what they did here. I'm just saying that I've known for years apparently Shaman King was like risque to a point, but
Yeah,
I will say this much. I'm surprised that up to this point, because I don't remember any of this happening in the original. I am actually kind of not that shocked that four kids did what they did, but it kind of makes me wonder. I wonder how much of the original show they ended up changing because it's one of those things where like I know that people love Shaman King. I'm starting to see why because they don't care. I mean, if the Iron Maiden isn't any proof of that the creator just doesn't care. I don't know
yeah,
what else to I don't know what else to tell you. So like I mean I'm enjoying the fact that there is no there's probably a line, but he hasn't crossed it yet. Um, and on this particular episode, he probably almost got real close to it. I think he was probably like maybe inches away from crossing the line. Um, so like I said before, it's like I was not comfortable, but at the same time, I like at least it wasn't like a woman who was like in 18 and she had more to show because it's one of those things like the way her hair was flowing, that's how you kind of censor boobs, but she doesn't have any. So it's like it's very weird. You can almost say that if it wasn't for the fact that her name wasn't Jean and everybody kept calling her, you could probably say that was a boy considering the art style choice in the show.
yeah.
You could almost um and what I will also point out too
I feel like
with that
calling her the Iron Maiden was the first hint that she wasn't, but you know, if you say so.
no what I'm saying is that this guy's art style is there's another he's doing something else now. I forgot the name of it. Ultra? I forgot the name of it, but it's like the art style is very similar, and that one you can barely tell male or female unless someone outright states he or she. But and this
Mhm.
one is like I mean honestly yeah Iron Maiden, but at the same time that doesn't really mean anything in anime because Iron Maiden you could put a dude in there and it's still to be the same thing. But we're gonna move on. But I was like yeah I guess beyond her looks she's incredibly insane. I think I say she's masochistic. That's probably not the right word for her, but her backstory, and it's very weird and almost Jesus-like, considering that they're European, Anglo-Saxon. Uh, she wants to take on the world's problems, sins, everything like that, onto herself, and she put herself into a medieval torture device to take on all that pain. Uh, Also, not only that, her oversoul is a bunch of medieval torture devices.
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't look up any of this stuff out because I only recognized one of them, and I'm pretty sure Jock probably would know more about these medieval torture devices than I would. Uh, Not sure if he looked into this. If he did, I'll let him chime in right now.
I didn't have a lot of time to look into it, but I did want to look into statue of Apasia, I think that is, or something like that. Um,
Which one? Which one of the
Iron
taxi
Maiden
you
was
talking about?
like Iron Maiden was basically um, see the statue of Apasia. Like I think they're spelling it wrong. I think it's a It's one of the execution things they use.
Hmm.
Aphasia of Nabis, also known as the Iron Aphasia, was an ancient torture device similar to the Iron Maiden. Um, it was a replica or duplicate of the real wife of Nabis and used to collect money. If they didn't give money, they were sent to deal with his wife. Blah blah blah. Um, and it was the replica was dressed in expensive clothing with arms outstretched. If a drunken visitor hugged her, that triggered the arms to close. The arms, hands, and breasts were covered in iron nails. And the arm was capable of crushing the body of its victim. He would control the machine through hidden devices until the victim agreed to pay a tribute or to the point of death. So it was like to torture someone by like it would hold them there, like
I
almost like
feel
a
like I
Roman
heard
cookie.
about that, but
I
like,
hadn't heard about that one. I'd heard of the Iron Maiden, which is basically the same thing, except it's like a chamber that you go in.
yeah, I mean everybody
But
knows of the Iron Maiden, but I feel like I've heard. I feel either not heard about it, but I've seen a reference of it. It seems familiar. Like I feel like I've like when you said that about the body being spiked and everything like that and it holds you down. I feel like I've seen something like that. Not in real life, mind you, because I'm pretty sure that would not be what's the word I'm looking for here? Um,
kosher.
yeah, kosher. But
Gig. It
I
would
feel.
not be giggity.
Hmm?
It wouldn't be giggity.
Oh dear, dang it, dang it. What the heck? Why?
I
Man,
don't know
we already do
why.
lowbrow humor. Now you're just gonna break it down below lowbrow humor. What the heck, man?
The lowest of the low.
Uh, I guess that's all you have to say on that. I will say that one of my last lands here on on my stuff is that this show got real dark real quick. This show has a tendency to subvert expectation. Uh, First we saw spirits get just shattered, and now we're just seeing bodies off camera, mind you, all the blood on screen just getting like. This is probably the most death I've seen in this show up to this point in one episode. That's saying a lot. Uh, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you said, "Do I want to see something?"
I thought you had something to say because I think you were about to say something before I stopped you.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Um, you also bring up the X laws represent the Ten Commandments. Kind of thought so, but I kind of wish that they went more into that. Um, but I mean, I guess we'll see because right now we only got a little bit of what they are and who they are and whoever they who it is they're serving. I didn't recognize the spirit that she had with her either, so I don't know if that was just a made up name or something like that. Um, I think they said she had a god class. Yeah, you say that right here. They have a god. She's a god class shaman.
Yeah, they don't make it 100% clear what that means, but they did identify her as one. I thought that was interesting that they thought she might be a potential shaman king. Like they see her as a favorite. But yeah, to call her god class, I thought was pretty extreme.
I think she's one of the
But
few
she
that they've
really does
actually
like
labeled as a
what you
god
say about
class. Hmm?
what you say about her, like the show getting really dark really fast. Like she does leave like 3 little bloodstains on the ground, and and Manta passes out and everything else, and it's all pretty traumatic for everybody involved.
Well, I mean, they bring up the fact that she's a little girl and she's doing all this stuff. I was like, this show got dark. I said this before when they had Hal kill somebody from the spirit, from like killing them from their body and their spirit at the same time. I was like, that was dark, but it was like nowhere near this dark. Like, um, as I said before, the creator has like by this point in the show, the creator has marked it saying that things are gonna get much worse from here. Like, if you're not prepared for it, you probably should stop watching or reading,
Yeah,
because like I feel like now he or she has set the stage for things to get much worse. Um, Especially if there's death happening. It's like, okay, well that's And also you before we move on to episode 22, you saying Lyserg not having the spirit. That's probably what's gonna set him apart from the blood drinking X laws at this point, because they don't care, and this girl has already shown that she don't care either. Uh, we haven't seen her mad. which is odd considering how much retribution she is dealing out. But um, so I can only imagine she gets scarier when she gets upset. I had no
Well,
confirmation of that, but I'm almost certain.
she could also be sort of a glass cannon. I wasn't really sure where I stood with her. She certainly like flies off the handle a little bit and like lets out an enormous amount of power early on. So I wonder if she can sustain that power or if she's just
I'm pretty
like
sure she can sustain it because based on her background, she prayed to a deity in that world for Norma's uh, Furioku to do what she's doing there.
yeah.
And so far, everybody else is surprised at how much she actually has. Now, that doesn't mean, she won't tire out too quickly, but it's guaranteed that she has a lot more than,
Then she let on.
pretty sure. She's got more than Rin for sure. How much she has compared to Hao is another story. Uh, but I'm guessing we'll see it at some point, how much she has compared to Hao. Considering that she's in that Iron Maiden 100% of the time, tells me that they're probably only going to use her as a last resort. They're not going to let her just do what she wants to do.
Well,
But
she kind of did exactly what she wanted to do this episode and didn't hang around and see.
yeah, um, dark show. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
not dark, but it's like it's very what they're doing here and what they're willing to do is kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That line is kind of like they're really getting close to it. But I guess with that we can move on to episode 22, which I didn't write a lot for, but you made up for it. Uh, so
Sorry.
no, it's no problem. I only got like 3 lines here, so we'll see where my fit within yours. But we'll
Well,
episode 22.
that
The
sounds
time.
good.
Dang it, Jock. Episode 22. We'll go. I'll go anywhere with you is what the title episode is. And here it's a very short excerpt. The X-Loss face Team Niles, a team of what? I feel like I'm just rereading what you just set up here. Let me go and actually see real quick if maybe that's a typo on their end. That seems kind of weird. Let's go to Shaman King real quick. 2021. I'm on episode 22. Oh, it's just reversed here. Okay, well that's odd. I guess everything happened in one cohesive part. I guess that's what's good about releasing these episodes 2 at a time. A huge arc kind of plays out within a couple seconds of each other.
Tell me,
But
what do you mean?
that's part of the good thing with these episodes because like we get fights can typically end within 2 episodes and we get a chance to watch the entire fight at once
Mm-hmm.
versus watching one fight and then having to wait for another episode to come out. But Exelos face Team Niles, Team Magician Shamans, but Lyserg finds himself unable to murder them. Jane takes over the match, and kills her rivals with various instruments of torture, claiming herself as justice. They bring up that she has an ego, and that is no stretch of the imagination. She is very egomaniacal. I think it's probably a good word for her, but she's nice about it. So I guess that makes up for it. She's got a cute face. I have no idea.
Oh my god. Did you just say it's okay because she's cute?
She has a cute face.
You mean like cute like a 14-year-old girl?
I don't know. I feel like it's a trap that I've set myself in. So we're gonna try to move
It's a
on.
huge ass trap you just set yourself up, and I have never seen a trap of this magnitude, my
We're
friend.
gonna move on from the trap. We're just gonna walk over it.
I know
Um,
I'm enjoying embracing the trap
no,
personally.
please no. I don't want to embrace the trap, metaphorical or real. I don't want to embrace the trap.
I don't know. It sounded like you kind of wanted to embrace the trap.
No, I didn't.
You're
Um,
like, man, that's one. I believe your word was cute. One cute trap you got there.
moving
You know.
on. Uh, the first note you have here in the summary is the lull Faust finds Mountain and takes care of. I have Foster cans the tail to Manta. Essentially, he faints in the last episode, which I didn't bring attention to because Manta faints a lot in the series. Uh,
Is he? I don't remember him fainting. I guess I remember him fainting at least one other time. It's become a gag that like he faints now and wakes up in front of Faust. I think. I
yeah, I
think
think
we're
that's
gonna.
what they're doing there, isn't there?
I think that's going to be a continued gag.
I don't know if it's gonna get boring or not, but we'll find out. But Faust ends up
It's
telling
funny because so
Manta.
far, like Faust is like totally cool about it. Like he's not being a jerk at all. He's just like, oh hello.
I think he just feels bad because he took a scalpel to Manta and nearly took out his organs.
Yeah, you know that tends to make people feel somewhat awkward.
It's like,
Oh, was that you? I'm
like
so, geez, I'm
hello.
so sorry. I didn't realize it was you. If I'd known it was you, I told. Oh man, did you get better? Did you get your organs back?
They get he gets bad like a razor or something like that to get him to write a. But he tells Manta what happened after he fainted. Pretty much he ends up Manta ends up becoming concerned because people are dying. He didn't realize that this was gonna be what's happening at the Shaman King tournament. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting as much death as it was, and it's only 3 people have died by this point. We know Hao doesn't care about killing because he'll kill whatever. Uh, so we get 2 murderers. One doing it for self gain, the other one doing it for justice. I'm
Yeah.
starting to see a pattern. um,
Yeah, they do seem they're big on their justice. I notice.
see, you timestamp 347. Chocolate Love actually warns somebody that they could be a laughing stock. Huh? I didn't pick up
I
on that.
I think that's precious.
I didn't pick up on that. I
I
actually
think
didn't pick up on that.
it's rough when Choco Love one needs to warn you that you might become a laughing stock. You know.
But I didn't really. I saw that line, but I didn't pick up on actually it being a ironic statement to make.
I found a good number of like I don't know. I found a good number of like really light level puns mixed into this where you couldn't tell if it was a real pun or not. And I thought that one was especially amusing, so I had to mention it. I mentioned another one later about like with the ice people that I had come across that I thought was pretty funny too.
Uh, Ryu and Yo get ready for the next match. Yo seems very chill, doesn't mind fighting an empty stomach because he doesn't anticipate moving around much. Oh, that's what he meant. Okay, I was in the
Yeah.
middle of writing stuff down, and I only got caught some of what he said there.
It's so offensive because he's like hanging around all these. They're like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna win this one, and they're like, well, you're on a full stomach. That's not wise. And it's like, I don't think I'm gonna be moving around much. I mean, look at the people I'm up against, and everybody else is getting fairly pissed off at that point.
Speaking of people
It was,
getting
just,
pissed off at Yo, um,
it was a good gag. That's what I mean. Like, it was a good gag. Like to have everybody around listening to this guy and like incredulity and like thinking what a dick, you know.
I mean, Yo hasn't been much of a like an arrogant a-hole for most of the series, so it's kind of ironic
He's
that he's doing it
not
here.
one. He's just super. He's like Goku. Like he's not arrogant. He's just realistic about his skills and really confident. And it combines with him being sort of fearless in a way that's unfortunate for other people. You know, because it seems like maybe that's you know what I mean, what he's going for, but it's like actually not.
Iceman provokes Yo's friends, a battle sets up, and we have 3 what appears to be I'm not sure where Iceland or like Ireland or in Russia are set in the hemispheres. I've forgotten.
You really don't know where Iceland is?
I thought Iceland didn't exist.
It's just off the shore of Canada, above. It's south of Greenland.
So northern hemisphere people, okay, we're gonna move on from there, and I actually do that. In reality, I probably
It's
didn't.
like north. It's like north, like northeast off the shore of the U.S. Basically. The Iceland got it. Greenland got its name because it's a giant expanse of ice, and they wanted to encourage people to move there, so they gave it the bad name Greenland. Iceland was the opposite. Iceland's beautiful, so they gave it the name Iceland, so people wouldn't go there. They wanted it to themselves. That's like why those two countries have their name. Greenland is covered in ice, and Iceland is covered in green.
I like to meet the people who made those names and punch them in the gut.
Yeah. Well, you
Uh,
know where Russia is. If you don't know where Russia is, you need to have some serious thinking about your life.
I already
And what
have
was the
serious, I already have serious thinking about my life. We're just gonna move on.
the entire northern section, pretty much of the entire like Eurasian continent, like is Russia. Like if you jump over the ocean west of Alaska, you hit Russia, and you continue along Russia almost across the entire supercontinent. It's like it might debatably the biggest country in the world.
Putin. But I see like battle system with them. Like we got a Russian oversoul.
Yeah, Russia is the largest country in the world by total area, and at 17 million square kilometers. Canada is the second with 9.9 million, and USA is the third largest by area with 9.8, and then China with 9.5. But like that being said, it approaches twice the size of the next largest continent. I'm sorry, country. It's the largest country in the entire world by almost double the next largest.
I thought China was bigger, but like yeah, maybe not.
No, China's number four. China's smaller than Canada and the US. Canada's larger than the US. One is Russia, two is Canada, three is USA, four is China. Five is probably Australia, I'm checking. No, five is Brazil, then Australia.
Hmm, Uh,
The more you know!
I wish I had that. I wish I actually had that rainbow that I could put up there, or a rainbow sound effect. Uh, but
Sorry.
yeah, the more you know. But let's see, Russian oversoul. I can't pronounce this. Voidyanoi, Vodlanoi. I'm gonna keep butchering here. We're gonna move on.
I kind of
What?
like watching you do it though. I'm here for the disaster.
And the control's name is Ria. I'm gonna say that I don't think the Z is pronounced. I think it might be silent. She controls the moisture in the air. I haven't that written down. Now it makes me have a lot of jokes, but I'm not gonna make. So we're moving on to the next person, the Oversoul, Det, Dite, butchering a name again. The Viking from Iceland, Runemaster, the Lost Edda mythology. Again, mythology from another country that I don't know anything about. Just like with the Russian, I honestly was surprised that there was actually some like lore in Russia that I didn't know about. But I mean, hey, more you know. Um, the controller's name is Pino. He's Irish. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
wait, no, script. I skipped over something. Yeah, I skipped over. I don't know how I went to Oversoul. They were Oversoul, but bad, but by the controller Pino, the Irish guy controls ice. Mistletoe Crook is an intermediary, and the he brings up that he controls the goddess in the form of the crow Rise, I believe is what he says. Which that was actually kind of interesting. I don't know like where in the mythology in Iceland in Ireland that actually is, but I mean, I hope that that's actually an appropriate representation of one of the lores over there. I wouldn't know because I'm not Irish. Um,
That mistletoe crook was so interesting to me because if you look on the movie, I can't even find it. Like what they mean by like a mistletoe. Like a mistletoe cane, like doesn't come up with it. Like mistletoe crook, if you do Google image search, doesn't come up with it. I wonder if there's some other word for it that is like more common than calling it a mistletoe crook. But basically, if you look up Jack Frost in the popular TV series Rise of the Guardians, um, you'll see that his weapon is basically a mistletoe crook, and I always wondered why that is. But now we have this crook that's being used by this guy as his channel, and I'm guessing that his Jack Frost was doing something that was like a rough-hewn mistletoe crook himself to meet with that mythology. But I'd love to know the origins of it now. Because another snow character with a crook as their weapon really makes me think that it's a thing. I just don't know what thing that is. I didn't have time enough to look for it before our podcast today, but I'm positive that we're onto something with that.
yeah, so I'm just trying to look up stuff. I put in Mistletoe Crook Irish, but that didn't bring up anything but the Library of Congress. That's like the origin of mistletoe wreath Santa Claus cookies. But I think I don't think that has anything to do with what we're asking for.
I don't know if the mistletoe part is like a miss, but then if once you're just down to crook, like it's not enough. Like Google won't even be able to tell the difference between like
Here's
a
the
theme.
thing. Apparently, the mistletoes have something to do with druid ceremonies, and I think the druid ceremonies were actually mentioned by him specifically.
I mean, the crook could be something that like holds up the mistletoe that you hang on. Like it could be the stick that you hang mistletoe on. Like, but I just don't know. It's just like it's not enough for me. It wasn't enough for me to quickly get it. A lot of time to do more research than that. But I really think, given that Jack Frost uses it in Rise of the Guardians as well, that there's something to it. That it's not just a coincidence. So I'd love to know more about it, but I just don't yet.
It's funny how you say Jack Frost. I looked up, and I guess an earlier depiction of him, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like he holds a jet. He doesn't seem like, from what I can tell, he has a crook at all on him.
Are you talking about Jack Frost straight up, or Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians?
Jack Frost, straight up.
Yeah, I think they added to him as like a little piece of mythology, but I don't know why
Jack,
they added it. Like it's
Jack
just
Frost
super
is a personification of frost, ice, snow, sleet, winter, and freezing cold. Variant old man winter. He was held responsible for frosty winter, nipping the fingers and toes in such weather, coloring foliage. From like patterns starting in the late 19th century literature, more developed characterization of Jack Frost depicted him as a sprite-like character, sometimes appearing as a sinister, mischievous maker or as a hero. Okay, I was wondering about the hero thing because in the Rise of Guardians he was supposed to be a hero, but I always thought it was weird because I thought Jack Frost was supposed to be some like, like a leprechaun. He wasn't exactly nice, but he wasn't exactly bad either.
he's seen as like a troublemaker that's not necessarily evil, and when they need a hero, he's picked, and he's like, "Why'd you pick me? I'm mostly a troublemaker." And then he kind of like turns from that into like a hero to a reluctant hero to a full-on hero over the course of the movie. Um, but his crook is what threw me off in this. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if it's the weapon of a hero or a villain. I don't think that's the deal. I don't think it's even necessarily a weapon. I think it's a symbol of something mythological in that. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of the other stuff isn't necessarily a weapon either.
It
Like
probably has
one of
something
them.
to do with deep-rooted Irish mythology, but unless you know what you're looking for, you won't be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a long time, but it seemed really cool. Like there's something there to look into for anybody that wants to leave us like a note or leave something in the comments or something like that. Because I think it'd be super interesting to figure out what they're onto. Whoever made this series did their homework. That's basically what you can say. Every
I could
single
say
one of the
Jack Frost is
gods that they
Kane.
mention is from real mythology, and everything. There's like so much real mythology just tucked in here, just in case anyone cares.
Oh wow, I didn't notice this Kane here. That's interesting.
What?
No, I just saw this. I just had to look up Jack Frost Kane, and that image is what popped up. Actually, what I'd like to know of is Rise, that person. That's what I'm more interested in, actually. Shoot, Irish, cause, that's weird. All I'm getting is rise of the Irish studies in Europe. That's not what I'm looking for. Is that how you spell her name? Oh no,
What?
you said because of the rise of the Guardians. Never mind. That wasn't. So what was the name of the spirit that he was using? I forgot her name.
Who?
The guy with the crook.
It's in my notes. Pino?
Was the name of the spirit he was using?
Hang on. Is it Voidenoi or Bad? Or are
Huh?
those the other group?
I could just solve my own question actually just look into the anime episode.
Sorry, I must
That's
have
no
missed.
problem.
I thought I wrote most of them over, but I think it's Bada, Badh. It's in my notes by Controller Pino.
Oh, is this one? Okay. Shoot. So what we'll
But she
do?
doesn't have a crook or anything like that. She has a picture with her holding a sickle, but not like a crook or anything interesting like.
So she is. She also. It also is here that she is seen as a curl in some. Okay.
And she can suck the heat out of things. So they're not like making anything up in the series.
I never said they were. I was just wanting to look stuff up real quick. Old Iris. So this is definitely Iris for sure. That's. She's also a war goddess. I don't think they brought that up.
Well, they're using her in battles.
But
so.
that's true. I mean, but still, they probably could have brought that up. She's known to cause fear and confusion among. Wow, this is a pretty bad lady. Good gracious.
Yeah, you call her a lady. Make sure she gets respect.
Oh, she's been compared to a banshee. That's interesting. And also has a sisters. That's more intriguing.
Why is that? You thinking of dating him? I don't
No,
think
no. What I'm getting at is that he's using one of the goddesses, and so far we've seen it's been a recurring trend where sometimes we'll come across a shaman with more than just one spirit.
Yeah.
And he didn't say that he was just using one either. And if she has sisters that they didn't show here, that makes me wonder. I was trying to see if there's any any the closest thing is that sickle you brought up. So I'm almost certain that maybe that's what that is. Maybe it's just a scythe, because you can't find any other This is so cool. Doesn't give anything.
I really think that it's just something that's not immediately available, but we could find out if we looked a little deeper or we were already familiar with this stuff. I think
guess.
there's something to it.
I was thinking like Yo ends up antagonizing the Icemen. They all get upset because Yo's talking about taking them out with one strike, which we get to get a glimpse of why he says that later on, with giant spirit sword. That I was not expecting to see.
And he's like, "Oh, that's too much work," and he puts it back, and they're like, "What?" Because they're like blown away by it. And then he's like, "Yeah, that's what I got. So it was too much work to keep it going. I was just kind of showing you and goofing off."
I guess what's also interesting too is that Ren has a sword too that he gets from his father that we forgot about like episodes ago, like that he's never used before. And Ren's talking about him. He may actually have to use it to fight Yo. Which is cool that we're seeing growth in Ren saying that he's not just going to go out. He's going to go in there and try to battle Yo. He's going to be prepared to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me wonder. I wonder like how much damage is going to happen. Those two end up fighting.
All of it.
He's not wrong. Moving on from that, we get to the next fight. Yo's in his battle uniform. So is Ryu, and Faust doesn't really change that much. And in his notes here, he brings up the fact that I didn't write this down because I'm a bad person. But as the fight starts, they all go for Faust because he's in the wheelchair. Usually, Rule of War go after the weakest link. Faust shows that he gave up his legs. I forgot exactly what he said them for. I think it was to like I guess be with Elizabeth or something like that.
He gave them to Elizabeth. She needed legs, so he gave him hers.
Okay, he gave Elizabeth his legs, but took Frankenweenie, skeleton, and used them as his feet.
So hard to take comments in this seriously, isn't it? All right, Frankenweenie, you're gonna be my legs. Imagine that moment. You're like sitting at home and you're like, "Shit, I need legs. What am I gonna do?"
I don't want to imagine that moment.
Yeah, puppy. I don't want to be your legs. You're gonna be my legs. Sometimes. The rest of the time, I'm gonna sit in a wheelchair with a bucket of blood.
We also get a little bit of we also get a little bit more story on Faust, what he's been doing. He's now friends and going to be Yo's bodyguard because Anna, this chick can be so cold-blooded sometimes, and this is just another example of it. She's taking advantage of his desire to be with his dead wife. Now, some of that I believe she can do. Some of it I don't think she can. But we'll see. I guess when things had to become they have to be promises have to be fulfilled. So we'll
Whoa.
see.
Was she
Thank
talking? Are we still talking about the same thing?
We're not talking about Shaman King. I'm just talking about like his wife, and he talking about like
Promises
I
have to
Anna
be.
promised him that she was gonna train him to be able to see her whenever he wanted, but I don't think that's possible because if that was possible, he would have already discovered a long time ago.
That's not true. There's all sorts of things.
I still don't think it's like I feel like
There's all sorts of things characters in this series like learn unreasonably fast once they're exposed to the answer. Like think about how quickly Yo's learned literally anything.
he's a main character.
Yeah, I know, but he picks up things really fast. And then what about Lyserg? He learned some stuff in like what, a day?
I guess I just don't know. I feel like she's like preying on his insecurity of wanting to be his wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she needed to do. But we see that Faust is also getting stronger. We also see he has a new oversoul. Uh, his soul, the soul of his wife, becomes this giant succubus thing. Now, the name of the spirit, the name of the oversoul is Mephisto. But I want to bring up something that only fairy tale fans will notice. This is a character called Mary Jane from that show, and she has magic abilities, and it's funny because her magic ability is called Oversoul, and she has a form that looks exactly like that. The only difference is that she's a lot curvier than she is.
So it's like an inside joke for those people, do you think?
Part of me wonders if Fairy Tale borrowed from it, and we're only just now finding out now.
Yeah.
um, because I was seeing this, and a lot of things like once I discovered that she looks like her, I was like, and I started thinking about everything I knew about the show. I was like, no way, that is too much of a coincidence.
It sounds like it's on purpose. It's just a matter of who's referencing.
I was just like, oh my goodness, there's too many things. I'm just like, seriously, why? I like the idea, but at the same time, I'm just like, why? But oh well, I mean, it's there. Also, I guess a funny little like thing you write down here is that it's revealed that Yo hired Faust for the hot springs. So Faust is indebted to him now.
It's pretty funny when you think about it. And it's like, you offered me a job. I've got to be a good employee, so I have to protect Yo because he's my boss.
I find it weird. When you think about Faust being a necromancer, if they ever need more employees, Faust could just dig them up.
I don't know if I want a dead person helping me at my hot spring vacation, but sure, if you say so.
They're shamans. They don't think about these things. When they need an employee, just tell Faust to go get one. He dig one
Yeah,
up.
like, don't worry about anything. We've got it. That's a dead person. You're trying to. He's making a dead person is giving me iced tea, sir. It just seems a little bit off, just a tiny bit off.
Off kill. We're watching a show about people manipulating spirits of dead people.
Okay, but like a dead person bringing you your loofah and iced tea, it just doesn't work.
I'm pretty sure it happens in this show's universe.
Oh no, I can't handle this anymore.
I mean, you literally say, "What was it? Where's this line here that I didn't bring attention to because I saw it and I was like, wow, this is how little he thinks of me. Where is it? Here it is. Lukewarm. Good God, what is Jeremy making me watch? This in the notes. What the heck, Chuck?
The Iceman literally called the Joe's friend. The Iceman called it lukewarm. And it did make me wonder what you're putting me through, Jeremy.
I don't know some of this stuff. I mean, I've never seen these characters before in my life. So
The little extremely subtle puns that are just integrated throughout this. And that's why your performance was. We're ice people. We make jokes.
I mean, hey, it's a show. I mean, that's all I can. That's all I can give you. That's that's the only answer I can give you.
Mm-hmm.
But with that oversoul that he performs, we're seeing that. So I'm starting to wonder like, how many other power ups have actually happened in this. Still, like even for instance, Ryu. They also bring up the fact that like Faust, Ryu, and Yo are all using human spirits, but Yo brings up that Minamaru has ascended. And from the way I took it, it sounds like because Minamaru has been around for like 600 plus years, he's just a higher spirit already. And it just took Yo being able to harness all that powers to be able to put it to good use. So that was kind of cool. It's like they bring up that he's a higher spirit. Like, what does that mean? Um, like maybe he starts thinking, well, maybe that's why Yo chose him in the first place. Yo recognized that Minamaru had potential that maybe he didn't know he had, but it was kind of cool. He also brings up the fact that his Harasame, he's broken it twice by this point. I thought that was comical. No one asked him for it. He just said, "I broke this sword twice by this point." I'm just kind of curious, like I guess we're getting the hypotheticals now. Now we're talking about the episode. I want to know, like, if he actually used that giant sword, is it just like, does he have to like wave it to give off like like a blast of energy or whatever, or is it just like he can swing it around flawlessly because it feels like a regular long sword, but it doesn't look that way.
I mean, he's basically magically making the sword bigger, right?
But he's using a stone sword as a medium and combining his regular sword along with a Mitamaru in it. I
I
don't
don't
know
think
how
it's
he's doing it.
actual. I
Hmm?
don't think its actual size is based on any kind of reality. Is basically what I'm thinking.
It's an anime. I don't know if there's really any. I mean, I don't think it's possible to have a sword that big in real life. I mean, maybe you could. I mean, based on my understanding, apparently that's a god sword or something like that he's using. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why it's as big as it is. That's what she said. Uh, moving on.
It's not the size of the sword, Jeremy. It's how you use it.
I guess you would know because you have a kid.
He's got very low. Well, he's got very poor
Oh no.
lasting power with this. Like he can't keep that sword out for very long before he gets tired.
Oh dear.
What does that say alone? Do you know what I mean?
So many innuendos can be made from that just one statement. Um, I don't got much more to say. We will come back next week for two more episodes of Shaman King. I don't think that was him trying to end the podcast like he normally does, but I'm just gonna let that be the ending. I don't think I could come back from that. Um, yeah, things got real awkward real quickly. So I will end it here. See you guys
I
next
just
time.
think his performance was lukewarm.
Oh, great. Yep, there he goes. We're ending that podcast now. Thank you, Jack. Goodbye.